Hey everybody, so this is take two. I attempted to make this video earlier and it was going really good, but I got interrupted and had to stop it. So I'll upload that, but this is hopefully the final take. So I was in Scouts all the way through. Cub Scouts. It goes Cub Scouts up to like age 10 or 11, and then you do Webelos for 2 years, and then you do Boy Scouts, which is your teen years, and then you have to get Eagle by the time you're 18 if you want it. A lot of kids don't get that far. There's a series of ranks. It's not important. But I went all the way through. I cleaned up like a mile of creek is my Eagle project, because everybody has to do a project, a community service project. Cleaned up a bunch of real gnarly garbage out of a creek, and that garbage bags full. So yeah, let's watch this video. Let's react to what Pete HAGSETH. And by the way, I was out at the age of 2000, at the year of 2008 or 9 at the latest. So I don't know much about like modern scouting. I know that girls are involved now, which, yeah, well, let's just get into it.
For more than a century, Boy Scouts of America prepared over 130 million American boys to make moral and ethical choices, not just during their formative years, but for a lifetime as they grew into men. The first few words of the Scout Oath exemplify this. Quote, "On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country." The Boy Scouts are embedded in our communities. They're sponsored by community organizations, service clubs, and churches. Many Boy Scouts have gone on to senior leadership positions in their communities and business, in our nation's military, and as elected representatives in local, state, and national office. 6 Boy Scouts have been elected President of the United States. 11 of the 12 men to walk on the moon, Boy Scouts.
And I thought a good number of those guys got to Eagle, which is something that's extremely rare. Very, very, very few Scouts make Eagle rank.
Boy Scout training focused on responsible citizenship, character and leadership development, patriotism, personal fitness, self-reliance, faith, and a wide range of outdoor skills.
I remember the physical fitness merit badges. We may have done those in Webelos. I don't remember if they had that in Scouts proper, Boy Scouts proper. But I remember we had to chart sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, miles ran. We had to chart it. We had to chart our weight. We had to chart all this shit to show us how to be good at compiling data and seeing a change in our health. This is one of the many things that they taught us that was healthy and useful in the future for adults. There's tons of merit badges you can do to learn all sorts of skills. I mean, some of the weirder merit badges or more special merit badges I have are like horsemanship, where we got to ride horses for like a week and we learned all the parts of the saddle and all this shit. I had to memorize all these parts on the saddle. It was so hard. I can't remember. It's been so long. But I took a weather merit badge. I had a lot of merit badges. Not as much. Some kids love doing the merit badges, and they would have you would put some on your uniform, but your uniform can only support so many patches. So you get a sash, and you just load that up. But some kids would have a sash that was like out of room, right? They'd have to go around the back on the thing. But yeah, it taught you lots of different skills. They taught you politics in the community and the world and all these things. Citizenship in the world is what it was called. Citizenship in the community. Lots of different badges to teach young people all kinds of very practical things.
It was a great program. And this department had a close relationship with the Scouts almost since its inception. as many troops meet on military bases. After 2012, however, the Boy Scouts lost their way, and a once great organization became gravely wounded. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, crept in. The name was changed to Scouting America. Girls were accepted. The focus on God as the ruler of the universe was watered down to include openness to humanism and earth-centered pagan religions.
So, I think they should remove the religion and spirituality from Boy Scouts. I mostly think spirituality and religion is something that people use to make themselves feel good. But like if you're, I don't see where it's involved in. I don't see how Boy Scouts benefits from the religion stuff or the pagan stuff or any of it. I think it should all be out, and they should focus more on environmentalism and things of this nature. Science, skills. Religion is something that people should do outside of scouting, in my opinion. It gets in the way. Frankly, we had a lot of people in our troop that were not religious, and they didn't like hearing it. They didn't want to be preached at, and I think that's fair. It's gonna start raining on me, this video.
Scouting became an organization that no longer supported and celebrated boys. They even welcomed the destructive myth of gender fluidity and transgenderism to infiltrate their membership. Along the way, standards were...
I don't think that men and boys need to follow every single stereotype that a man should maintain, but like, it's hard to turn boys into men if you're also trying to turn girls into women at the same time. Those are often very different things. Like, you're gonna have to carry your stuff if you go camping, go hiking. You're gonna have to carry a lot of weight. Our bags were heavy. Plus, I don't know, man. I think that boys need a place where it's just the boys growing up. Of course, you need to find time to be social and learn how to communicate to women and stuff, and meet a girl someday. But like, it's just hard to work with both genders in that way. And also, I don't know that I would want my daughter around those little asshole kids. Like, some of those kids were just real difficult to deal with. They weren't, I didn't catch any like weird, creepy vibes from any of the kids, right? They weren't like, I don't think they ever talked about X-rated things, but like, I don't think, we, ever talked about X-rated things, but I always viewed myself as older than I was in Scouts because so many of those kids were so obnoxious. And I also look back at it as an adult leader, but yeah, I don't think, I don't know that I'd want, if I had a daughter, I'd want her in Scouts with the boys. Like, I just think that those things should be separate. I don't like to tell girls or women that they cannot try to do the things that men do, because I think some women can absolutely hang. But like, this is like a training program. You're educating young people, and I think that by trying to be inclusive to everybody, you start to lose the focus, and your strengths as a program start to not be as pronounced anymore.
Lowered and merit destroyed in favor of an insidious, radical, woke idea. They even welcomed the destructive myth of gender fluidity and transgenderism to infiltrate their membership. Along the way,
I don't like this transgender shit at all. Like, I don't think gender matters much. I don't. I really think that society has taken gender and turned it into way too much. Like, be who you want to be, but like, I think scientific fact is a thing, and I think that we are born who we are for a special reason. I know I'm not religious, but I think you're special the way you are, And it seems like for the past 20 years or 30 years, society is just like, everyone's just pissed off about who they are, and they want to change who they are, and they can't accept who they are, and they're bent out of shape about it. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, young people get bent out of shape because they're growing and learning and they're understanding who they are. But it's just this obsession with gender never really made sense to me at all. I don't think that. I think that men need to know how to be responsible as men, and that's mostly it. But I think that there's a lot of stuff that the trans community believes that just doesn't, it's not congruent with science. There's a lot of things that people believe today that are not congruent with science. Yeah.
Standards were lowered and merit destroyed in favor of an insidious, radical, woke ideology that is anti-America and anti-American. The result...
So, I'm not super duper patriotic, right? I'm really not. Even though I'm an Eagle Scout. We had plenty of people in our troop that were not patriotic, you know? And I think sometimes if you're like super duper not patriotic, it does become detrimental to the program, because you're there to serve the country, right? You're there to serve your community. We did lots of service projects for our community. And if, like, there are some people, a lot of people now, more than ever, and there's going to be more of these losers tomorrow than there is today. It is very popular now to just freaking hate America. And like, if you don't live in America, that's your business. But don't get me wrong, this country is kind of a dump. Like, a lot of states in this nation are just falling apart. The ghettos are a place where you walk in and no one sees you again, right? This country's a dump. But some people hate the country so much, they only want to complain and be the opposite of a solution. And worse, they start burning stuff down, they commit crimes. If you, like, I'll never hate this country so much that I'm going to stop trying to find solutions where I can. Like, if I see a pothole, I try to report it. If I see a bag of garbage in the road, I move it. If I can park my car and get some shit out of the road that someone could crash into and die, I absolutely will if it's safe, right? I try to do. I'm no angel, but and I think that, like, there should be a base level of patriotism that is demanded out of Boy Scouts, or get the fuck out. But I don't know. I don't think you need to be super red-blooded American. Just patriotic enough to make a positive influence in your country, not a negative one.
Membership cratered. Americans didn't want this. This radical, woke ideology that is anti-America and anti-American. The result, membership cratered. Americans didn't want this. In 1970, 10 million boys participated in Boy Scouts. Currently, less than 1 million boys.
I don't know if this is related at all, but they ended up selling off or closing or whatever a bunch of Boy Scout properties, government properties, camping properties, you know, and God knows what was turned into those woods. Actually, they sold off one of them here in Oregon a long time ago, Scouters Mountain. It was a place that was very close to the city that kids could go and camp. And, you know, lo and behold, they sell it so millionaires can put their crappy houses on it. Bullshit, right? It's bullshit. And I think Pete's right. You know, I don't think trying to modernize the Scouts is always a bad thing, but, like, when no one's showing up, you got to make some changes. I think one of the changes I would make is don't make it such a time-consuming program, and don't demand so much. Don't demand so many merit badges. Like, we don't have time. We didn't have time 20 years ago when I was in Scouts. People have less time now, right? Our time is different. We're in school. Like, I didn't have time. Like, if you're a responsible student, and you have a girlfriend, like, you just don't have time for scouts. I was neither. I was a single loser student.
And girls participate. Further, many of these community organizations that once supported Scout troops, they withdrew their support.
Yeah.
And Scouting America, the parent organization, filed for bankruptcy protection.
You did see that. I mean, there was a lot of hate for the Scouts when I was growing up. Like, everyone hated the Boy Scouts, and I don't think it ever changed. I think it only got worse with time. I think it's fucked up when communities don't support the Boy Scouts. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, those, apparently there was a bunch of creepy dirtbags that showed up long after my time. Bunch of, predator adults. And I don't support crime. I don't support, I don't want to use, PDFs. But where was I going with this? All that stuff happened after I was there. All the weirdos that showed up. We didn't have any adults that had creepy vibes like that. We had some dumb adults, but they were all so straight edge. Like, the idea of anyone being a weird PDF would be like, all of them would be like, let's kick this guy out right now. Not supporting that is fair, but they didn't support Boy Scouts because they were far left idiots. Like, that's the real reason. Anything that looks remotely to government, these far left crybabies won't. They'll just be total dicks about it. Boy Scouts was good for people. It was good for kids. And pulling support long before all the allegations came out isn't good for the community.
The changes Scouting America made since 2012 have also jeopardized the relationship with this department. And I was very seriously considering ending our support of Scouting altogether. We have a department to protect, after all. Beyond that, the policies Scouting America have in place violate President Trump's Executive Order 14173, entitled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity.
Yeah.
But before making this big change, I decided to...
There's a lot of things that we did in Scouts that were high adventure and highly risky and potentially life-threatening. A lot of really rough hikes that we took where it was raining real bad and you could slide off a cliff while you're carrying a ton of weight on your back. If you're a lady, a girl that thinks you can hack it, then join us. But if you can't hack it, you might die. Like, you literally might fall off a cliff. You might seriously get hurt. This isn't a game. This isn't about DEI. This is about surviving in the woods. Like, grown adults go out in the woods and die all the time. Grown men who think they can fucking make it. And most women are not built like me. And like I said, if you think you can hack it, please come on. But I think the Boy Scouts I think Scouts need some kind of physical test to join, because like we had kids that were just way too fucking out of shape to do our hikes, and they would have to go back halfway through the hike. Like, it was a whole thing. It's they need a physical test. They always had. They always needed one. They just don't want to cut out kids because they want to help everyone they can, which is great.
Meet with the current Scouting leadership to convey our deep concerns. Based on that face-to-face conversation and subsequent conversations, Scouting America agreed to make several key reforms. And let me briefly highlight a few of them. First, Scouting America has agreed to comply immediately with the provisions of Executive Order 14173.
Good. We don't need
This includes reviewing and replacing politicized, divisive, and discriminatory language throughout the organization, programs, and all publications. No more DEI, zero. Second, the, quote, Citizen in Society Merit Badge that encouraged Scouts to explore diversity, equity, inclusion, and identity. They always mask it under a name that sounds great, but it's doing something else. And then asks those Scouts to engage in activism on those topics. That badge has been discontinued.
Good.
Third, Scouting America will
See, this is... Look, I'm not a homophobe. I'm really not. I mostly like to stay out of people's business. Don't push your sexuality onto people. Don't push your ideologies onto people. Like I already said, I think Boy Scouts already has too many ideologies in it, with the God stuff and all that stuff I don't agree with. Do we have to like force a lifestyle into the Scouts that has the only type of lifestyle that should be in the Scouts should involve health and being a good person, right? Serving people, helping people, loving people, being productive. Like all this like social stuff where they're talking about gender and I don't know. The only sexual related class we had to take was about PDFs, about like meeting creeps in your community that might try to make a move on you and how to deal with it responsibly. That's about all we learned. You know, I don't know about all this new shit they've added.
Modify its policy to make clear that membership will be based solely on biological sex at birth and not gender identity.
Good, yeah.
That means that any application will have only two sex designations, male and female, and the application must match the applicant's birth certificate. Scouting will also make clear that biological boys and girls will not be allowed to occupy or share intimate spaces together. Toilets, showers, tents, anywhere like that.
Excellent.
Fourth,
good.
Scouting America will honor those who...
Good. We don't need kids getting pregnant on fucking campouts, right? Like, don't get me wrong, right? I think if a boy and a girl love each other very much, right? And they're both they're both around the same age. You don't have an adult involved. Something fucked up and criminal like that. And everyone's using proper birth control and condoms and stuff. Whatever, maybe that it'll be, fall in love, have nothing but good memories about it, fine. But I think overall it's just way too problematic to have boys and girls naked together or in Scouting, or to have them, showering together, sleeping in the same tent. It's just, this is why I don't think they should be involved in the program, right? It's just, yeah.
Serve by waiving the registration fees for children of active duty, guard, and reserve families. Should have happened a long time ago. Fifth, in partnership with the War Department, Scouting America will introduce a new military service merit badge. These and other changes that Scouting America's leadership committed to, in that room right over there, will hopefully result in a rededication to the foundational ideals that have defined Scouting for generations.
That's very interesting to me, because that's like more conservative than Scouting was when I was in Scouts, where we would actively say, we were a more liberal troop, but we would actively say, we are not the military, right? It was so bad that like we were trying to give these kids push-ups because they wouldn't cooperate, and one of the moms complained, and word came from up top that we couldn't give these kids fucking push-ups because it was corporal punishment, even though they wouldn't listen to anything we said. But I don't see anything wrong with a voluntary merit badge that teaches kids about military service if they're interested in making that a career path, right? I don't think it should be mandatory. I like learning about military stuff and learning about guns and things of this nature. Like there's rifle shooting, shotgun shooting merit badges, right? Like you can learn to disassemble, reassemble a weapon in Scouts. You can learn how to fire a rifle or a shotgun. You can learn, bow shooting, these things. It's not a program for people that are babies about guns, period.
Duty to God and country, leadership, character, and service. However, as President Reagan famously said, trust but verify. This agreement is new, and the department's support for Scouting America is contingent on them making substantial progress toward reaching these and many other positive changes in the next 6 months. At that time, we'll vigorously review progress and decide whether or not to continue our support. The onus is squarely on Scouting America to deliver. If we're unsatisfied with Scouting America's progress toward and commitment to the agreed upon reforms, we will find them in violation of the President's executive order and cease our support. We hope that doesn't happen, but it could. Ideally, I believe the Boy Scouts should go back to being the Boy Scouts, as originally founded, a group that develops boys into men, maybe someday. There are also additional youth and boys organizations, groups like Trail Life USA and Awana clubs, that are already compliant with President Trump's executive order.
I think the Girl Scout, I think they should split these programs up again. Like, I don't know if Girl Scouts is still a thing, but I think they should give the Girl Scouts some more heavy metal stuff to do, some more high impact stuff. Because I've heard girls that said, oh, I saw what my brother did in Scouts. And this is before that they allowed girls in Scouts. So I saw my brother's, work in Scouts, and I wanted to be involved, so I joined the Girl Scouts. It was a bunch of bullshit, so I quit that. And I think girls deserve more. Now, I don't know that girls should have the same program, because I don't know that they can carry as much weight. I don't know if they're as physical as men, right? Like, we really had to carry a lot of weight when we were hiking. Even when you chop it down as low as you can, get it the weight as small as you can, it was still always a lot of weight to carry. I did a lot of 5-day hiking campouts where you hike to your campout, you set up your tent, you pull everything out of your shit that you're carrying on your back, and then you put it all back together, and then you hike some more. I did a 200-mile trek. Well, we had cars involved. I did a 200-mile bicycle trek. 200-mile bicycle trek, same story, same camping situation. So it's very hard for boys, and we definitely need a physical fitness test for everybody. Like I keep saying, if girls can hack it, I really don't care for that reason, but I don't want girls to get hurt. I think they need to give girls some cooler things to do. Girls can learn how to hunt. There's no reason why a girl can't fire a 20 gauge shotgun or a rifle, a 22 or something like that, or I've seen small people fire a shotgun that they know how to shoulder it. So nothing wrong. It's just they need to make Girl Scouts a little bit more like Boy Scouts used to be. And then I think double down on the things that made Boy Scouts great. Because girls deserve to do some of the things that boys do. There's no question about it.
Department may eventually support as well, but we're watching, and we're watching closely. We look forward to providing you with updates after our 6-month review, and wish the best to Scouting America.
So, before it starts raining, I don't know what else I can add to this. They really need to give time back to these scouts, rework how much time they're taking away from you, because it's school away from freaking school. You're busy a lot because of scouts. You got a meeting every week, and you got merit badges to do. We camped on the weekends, once a month, for years at least, sometimes twice a month. We were crazy we loved camping. We would camp until it was too cold to camp anymore, or until the snow started falling on the mountains. So, I don't think I have much more to add to this situation. I think it's good that they're actually taking a look at scouting in general, because it's they just kept selling off more and more land until you could see it was like an airplane nosedive for scouting, and it was getting to be kind of concerning, because my opinion was my initial opinion was kill it and let something better come out of its ashes. But this is a good direction too. I think they need to get girls out. That's the first thing they need to do right now. I don't think they get the girls out and give the girls a better program. Less, we did crafting stuff. We learned how to weave baskets and shit like this. Tie knots and whatever. Sew. There's a sewing merit badge. These are good skills. right? Maybe even the beads are great. Maybe you can make a choker out of beads. Maybe that would be a useful thing. It's not all, but anyway, that's all. Look for my other video. There's stuff in that video I said that I forgot to mention in this video. It's more detail oriented towards the first half. It's unfortunate that this video has been so hard to produce. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm optimistic about what's happening with oh, I have another idea. If I was in charge, I would make sure the people that are involved are paid good. Because I wanted to actually counsel at summer camp last summer, because I just wanted to hang out in the woods for a couple months. I was sick of the city. I just wanted to get out of the fucking city for a couple months and detox. But the pay was nothing. You come out, it was retarded. So how do you expect people that know skills? Because some of these merit badges are very skill oriented. We went to a guy with a metal shop, a whole shop to learn metalworking. He volunteered his time. There's not a lot of people like that. So we need to pay the people that are working for Scouts that are adults. Period. We got to pay them good and make sure we have good professionals around. And then the program will soar. But, any business, if you pay like crap, what can you expect out of your workers, right? So, anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you appreciated this. Check out the rest of the channel. If this is your first time here, it is the most random BS you'll ever find, man. It's just me doing a lot of, smoking and talking about nothing and taking videos of the dog and birds and all kinds of stuff. So, anyway, see ya.